Hello and welcome to this Selenium recipe regarding modal dialogues. So in a previous video, we saw how to handle alerts. Actually, we were here and we had a look at this JavaScript alert. In this video, however, we're going to have a look how we can handle this modal dialog. The good thing about this modal dialog is, unlike alerts, we can actually identify all of the elements via the DOM. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to click on the open model. We're going to check the title, the text, and we're going to click on close. So let's get started. So we already have the model test here, and let's write our steps. So first we need to identify the button to open the model. Then we will need to click the button. Then we identify the elements from the model. We store the text from the elements. We check the text from the elements, and we close the model. Good, so let's get started. First things first, we want to see how we can identify this button. So it seems to have an ID here. If we check for the ID, it seems to be unique, and that confirms it. Okay, so let's just add it here. So we have a web element of open model button, which can be identified by driver find element by ID. Perfect. And now we just want to click that button. Perfect. And then let's identify the items in the model. So we click it here, and if we inspect this model, it seems to have different classes for the content. Okay, that's the whole model dialog, but we have different classes for the header, the body, and the footer. And in the footer, if we go here, we have the two buttons identified by actual IDs. Good, so let's see. If we take this as a class, it's unique. Perfect, so we can just go ahead and say for the model header, model header, and we identify this by driver find element by ID. Sorry, not ID. It's CSS selector in this case. And we need to add the identification that it is a class. Okay. And we go a little bit down on the body. And that seems also to be unique. Perfect. So web element model body by CSS selector model body, and we have the two buttons, one being identified with an ID of close button. Perfect. And the other one with OK button, it seems. Yes. Yes. Okay, so now close button, or just copy the OK button, and web element model OK button, and now let's go ahead and copy the close button. Good. Oh, sorry, model not closed, but closed. And that's another ID. Perfect. So before checking the text, it's always good to store the data. So let's store it as a string. Let's make it header and body. Okay, header text, and that's going to be our model header and get text, and body text. So model body and get text. So let's just do or let's just write the asserts. We can also write the asserts, and so we can write the asserts. So let assert equal, and what do we want to assert? We want this header text to be equal to model title, and we will want the we will want the body text to be equal to some text here. Okay, let's just import these ones. We select it, make Alt Enter, insert equals. Yeah, okay, that's better. And we can run the test, see if it works. And apparently our test failed. Okay, why did it fail? Here we, oops, that's one thing which we need to modify. And the first one is expected and the second one is the actual. So I'm expecting this too. Wait, let's run it again. But I'm pretty sure you already saw the issue that we have. And the issue is our strings here are empty. Okay, let's see again. Yeah, so these two seem to be empty. So let's see what's happening there. Are they really empty? Let's make print here to stop, and we just debug it until here to see if it actually, if our code is at least corrected. It opens the model and then it checks for the values. So let's open our Chrome. So it seems to open the model, but we have here the header text and header body seem to be empty. Okay, we can stop here. And what I believe is happening is because we're using Chrome, the checks are being made too fast. Basically, I know it's a little bit hard to believe it, but basically, once we reach here, we have already checked the text, and for some reason, this one didn't even load correctly. And okay, 1 second here. Let me add what I want to show you, or what I want to express here. Wait that the model loaded. Okay, so actually this is what's missing here. We're missing a wait statement. We're missing a way to tell Selenium, you're too fast. You're basically, you're too fast. And to prove to that what I'm saying is correct, let me just put breakpoint here and debug it. And let me put another one here. So the model, this one is empty. Okay. If we go here, we have the text, the model. And if I go over it, the body text is there. So my assumption seems to be correct. The test is too fast. Now, there are a couple of ways to handle this. You can tell Selenium to wait until something happens, to wait indefinitely, but wait and wait is not the scope of this video. So I'm going to just copy the code that fixes this and then go through the code and explain what happens. Okay, so here is the code which will fix our issue. And I'm going to make a separate video about weights and explain the whole topic there again, or explain it in depth, how we handle weights and the different type of weights in Selenium. But for this video, let's do the following. So let me explain. So Selenium does have the possibility to have it specified how much seconds or minutes you want to wait. And the best thing to do is you want to give it an condition. Please wait until something happens. And what we're doing here is we're basically creating a condition to wait until this element here is visible. And if we were to run the test now, it may fail because I think there is still some formatting needed for the text, but you will see that it will not fail in the sense that you have empty values. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let me debug it. So we have here our model. And by the assert, it will fail, like I said, because as you see, first one, the header text, has a little bit more items to it, but we can fix that by, we can just copy its value and we'll put it here. And let's just rerun the test. And our test passed. We can of course make this a little bit, or make it more correct and not with this ugly part in the sense that we can make it, we can make a check that it only contains the model title. But for our test, I think it's correct. And the last thing which we want to do is press the close button or click it. So let's run the test. And the test passed. Perfect. So we saw here how to deal with models, and we introduced the concept of weights. In a future video, I will go through weights in more depth. But for now, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.